It is 3 in the morning. You wake up for no reason. You are wide awake, not tired, not scared, just awake. Most people panic a little when this happens. They think something is wrong with their sleep. They pick up their phone. They start worrying. But here is something strange. For most of human history, this was completely normal. It happened to almost everyone. Almost every single night. Your body is not broken. Your body is remembering something very old. Here's the thing nobody tells you about ancient nights. They were not empty. They were not just people hiding in fear until the sun came up. Most people picture ancient humans at night as helpless, sitting in the dark, waiting, scared. That picture is wrong. The truth is stranger and much more impressive. Ancient humans built a whole way of living around the dark. They slept in a completely different pattern than we do today. They used the night for thinking, for talking, for finding their way across oceans, even for building things. Once you see what they actually did, you will never look at your own 3 a.m. wake up the same way again. Here's what the evidence actually shows. Let's start with the basics. For most of human history, before we had control over fire, half of every single day was total darkness. Not dim, not grey, completely black. The kind of dark where you cannot see your own hand in front of your face. And in that darkness, big predators were awake. Lions, hyenas, leopards, big cats with teeth built for exactly this. Most of these animals hunt at night or at dawn and dusk. That means once the sun went down, early humans stopped being the hunters. They became something else could hunt. So what did people do? They grouped together. They found small, closed-in places. Caves were perfect. A cave only has one way in. You can put your back against the rock and watch just one direction. It was the very first kind of security system. Groups slept close together in these spaces, close enough to feel each other's warmth, close enough to hear each other breathing. If something came near in the night, someone would notice. Then, around 400,000 years ago, something changed everything. Fire. Once early humans learned to control fire, night became a different thing entirely. Fire kept people warm. It let them cook food, which helped their bodies get more energy out of what they ate. But more than that, fire created a circle of light. Most large predators will not walk into a lit area, not because fire hurts them directly, but because it confuses their senses and their whole hunting style depends on darkness. Sitting by a fire made you safer, just from the light itself. Fire also changed what people did with their time. You cannot really work with your hands in firelight the way you can in daylight. What you can do is sit together and talk. Scientists who study modern hunter-gatherer groups, like communities in southern Africa, have found something interesting. During the day, people mostly talk about practical things. Who is hunting where? What needs to be collected? But at night, the talk changes completely. People tell stories, long stories about ancestors, about how the world began, about what it means to be brave or kind. In fact, in these communities, about 80% of nighttime conversation around the fire is storytelling. During the day, it is only about 6%. Every single night, for tens of thousands of years, humans sat together and told each other stories. This is how culture got passed down before anyone could write anything. Fire may be one of the biggest reasons humans became such social, story-loving creatures in the first place. Now here is where it gets really surprising. Most of us think normal healthy sleep means 8 hours in one long block. If you wake up in the middle of the night, you assume something is wrong. But a historian who studied old letters, court records, and diaries found something different. For most of human history, people slept in 2 separate parts. They called it first sleep and second sleep. People would go to bed a couple hours after dark, sleep for 3 or 4 hours, then wake up calmly, not stressed, just awake. They would stay up for an hour or 2, then fall back asleep until morning. This shows up again and again across many old cultures and many centuries. During that middle waking time, people did all kinds of things. They prayed. Many cultures believed the middle of the night was the best time to connect with something greater. They thought about their dreams. Some people had children during this quiet window because they felt calm and relaxed then. Others tended the fire, checked on animals, or fed babies. It was just a normal part of life. This pattern faded away once we got artificial light. Once people could keep a room lit late into the evening, bedtimes got pushed later, sleep got squeezed into one block, and waking up at night started to feel like something was wrong. But your body has not fully forgotten the old pattern. That is very likely why so many people still wake up naturally in the middle of the night, feeling calm and clear-headed, and worry that something is broken. There is more. In South Africa, at a site called Border Cave, scientists found signs that people were building actual sleeping areas out of grass and leaves as far back as 200,000 years ago. And underneath those layers, they found ash, placed there on purpose. Ash keeps away biting insects like ticks and fleas. Someone, that long ago, noticed this worked, tested it, and taught it to others. That is real problem solving. That is real science, even without the word for it. In colder places, like Ice Age Europe, the challenge was not insects, it was deadly cold. The answer was sleeping in large groups, pressed together, sharing body heat. More bodies packed together meant more warmth, which meant survival. Some people in the group were naturally lighter sleepers than others. This may not have been an accident. A group where everyone slept deeply the same way would be an easy target. A group with some light sleepers and some heavy sleepers had built-in lookouts without anyone having to force themselves to stay awake all night. Let me throw something at you that might sound wild. What if the night was not just something people survived, but something they became experts at using? Some cultures built entire systems of knowledge around darkness. The ancient Maya built whole calendars and even city layouts around the movement of stars and planets they could only see at night. One planet in particular, only visible at dawn and dusk, was believed to guide decisions about going to war. To modern eyes, this looks like religion or superstition, but to the people doing it, it was closer to a working system. It guided real decisions, and it was taken completely seriously. In ancient Mesopotamia, a specific group of trained people spent their careers reading the night sky for signs. An unusual event, like an eclipse, was treated as important information, something worth acting on. The method may have been wrong by modern science standards, but the instinct behind it, looking for patterns and using them to make decisions, was a real form of early science. Here's a second wide idea. Some Pacific Island navigators crossed thousands of miles of open ocean with no compass, no instruments, and no charts at all, mostly at night. They memorized the positions of hundreds of individual stars for different seasons and locations. They could feel the direction of ocean swells through the hull of their canoe. They watched which way birds flew in the evening, since birds head toward land as the day ends. The night sky was not just pretty to them, it was their entire map. Different ancient cultures figured out their own specific reasons to work with the night instead of against it, often with no contact with each other at all. In what is now Zimbabwe, iron workers deliberately did their metalwork at night. This was not tradition for its own sake. During the day, sunlight makes it hard to see the exact color of hot glowing metal. At night, they could see the true color clearly, and the color tells you exactly how hot and workable the metal is. They were using darkness as a precise tool. In the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro in what is now Pakistan, over 4,000 years old, sanitation workers collected waste specifically at night so daily life for everyone else could carry on undisturbed. That is an organized night shift, thousands of years before the phrase even existed. In ancient Oman, farmers watered their crops at night on purpose because water evaporates much slower in cooler night air. This meant more water actually reached the plants instead of drying up in the sun. A simple, smart solution worked out through pure observation. And in cold northern Europe, the Vikings used oil lamps made from fish and whale fat to light their long houses, since winter nights there can last close to 20 hours. Instead of giving up on the dark half of the year, they built their own light and kept working, talking, and living through it. Here's where it gets uncomfortable, even if only a little. None of this changes the fact that the night truly was dangerous. People really did get killed by predators in the dark. Cold really did kill people who could not find warmth or shelter. The systems people built, caves, fire, groups sleeping, ash under their bedding, existed because the alternative was often death. The clever, thoughtful side of ancient nightlife did not erase the fear. It grew directly out of it. Every solution on this list exists because someone at some point faced real danger and found a way to survive it, then passed that knowledge on so the next person did not have to learn it the hard way. So why does any of this matter now? Because your own body still carries pieces of this history, whether you notice it or not. That calm, clear-headed feeling some people get when they wake up at 3 a.m. is not a modern glitch. It is an old pattern still sitting inside you from a time when two-part sleep was completely normal. The habit of gathering to tell stories at night has not gone away either. It just changed shape. Every time people sit around a screen, share a film, or tell each other stories late at night, they are doing a very old, very human thing. The fire changed, the habit did not. And the electric light that replaced all of this really has been worth it in many ways. But it also means most of us have almost completely lost touch with the actual sky above us, and with our body's natural rhythm when nothing artificial is interfering with it. So the next time you wake up at 3 in the morning, wide awake, thoughts moving clearly through your head, do not panic, do not grab your phone. Do not spiral into worry. Just lie there for a moment. Let your mind wander wherever it wants to go. You are not malfunctioning. You are doing something ancient, something your ancestors did every single night for longer than we can really imagine. The night was never empty for them, and in this one quiet way, it still is not empty for you either.